Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lewis Cooper Experience podcast experience, episode 8, I believe. It is currently the 14th of November as I'm recording this, probably upload it on the 15th, because my Mandalorian review is going up today. I hope everyone is keeping well in second lockdown here in the UK at least. It's given me a lot of time to do stuff, to watch movies and that, which is always great. As you can see in the background just behind me there, is my Lego Millennium Falcon, which I'm making really good progress on because I've got a lot of time. I think I've spent about 8 hours on it so far, which is a lot, just an hour here and there. I won't go into that. I'm going to do a video about that tomorrow to update people on how I'm doing with it, and it's a hell of a project. But yeah, we'll get more into that. So, as usual, I've got my movie of the week, my comic book of the week, and my action figure of the week, and I've got quite a good variety this week. So let's get straight into it. Also, I've cut my hair. That's the first bit of news today. Cut it earlier, just took it all off because it's easiest, isn't it? So if you like my haircut, leave a like on this video. And if you don't like my haircut, also leave a like on this video. That'd be great. So my movie of the week is the movie Birdman, which is, a pretty big movie from a little while ago. The reason it's my movie of the week is because I found it interesting and wanted to talk about it, because I watched it in 2014 when it came out in the cinema, and it was a big Oscar film at the time. Michael Keaton got a lot of attention. Surprisingly, not surprisingly, because Eddie Redmayne, I think, won it that year, but I think any other year it would have been Michael Keaton's year, which is a shame, but that is what it is. I remember watching it before, and I kind of didn't really get it when I watched it at the cinema. I was just kind of like, it didn't really click with me. And I thought one day I'll watch it again and see how I feel. And finally that day came. It's been on Netflix for ages, and I thought I'll watch it because knowing my luck, by the time I go to watch it, it'll be gone again. So I watched it and I liked it more. I still wouldn't say it fully clicked with me, but I found it interesting more than anything. The strength of it, I think, is the performances of all the characters. Like, you've got the weird kind of drumming background music which kind of sets it out, and it's all made to look like kind of one shot, which is much more popular now than it was back then, especially. So that's the real strength of it. But I'd say the performances for me are the best bit. I'd say Michael Keaton is great. Like, he it's a weird role for him, as he kind of played that actor who was best known for being a superhero, trying to be taken more seriously kind of thing, which, he's best known as Batman in the 80s and early 90s. But I think, he's more than done enough to really stand out as more than Batman. So it wasn't quite him, but then there is that comparison there. I think Michael Keaton's a tremendously accomplished comedic actor as well. I think that's I think back in '89, I was very, very young, so I wasn't really aware of it. But obviously, I think there was a lot of backlash, pre-internet days, to him being cast as Batman, because he was a comedian, he was Beetlejuice, and people just saw him as being this comic actor, and like, why is he being cast as Batman? Which seems to happen every time anyone's cast as Batman, especially recently, Ben Affleck and Robert Pattinson and stuff like that. But Emma Stone is his daughter in it. She's really, really good in it. I love Emma Stone. She's fantastic. I think this was her first Oscar nomination before she won it for La La Land. I could be wrong there, but I'm pretty confident it was. And I say the supporting cast is Zach Galifianakis, Andrea Riseborough, Naomi Watts as well. I'm a big fan of. They were all really good, and it is kind of like watching a play, even though it's about a play, in the way it's kind of put together. For me, I think Ed Norton was the real standout of it, because I'm a big Ed Norton fan ever since Fight Club. Really, that was the movie, probably the first movie I saw him in as a kid, really. And I love Fight Club. That's one of my all-time favourites, and he was great in it, and he was really good in this. He just played kind of, I don't know how much of it was himself, but he played like this really serious, dramatic actor who everything has to be real. He has to, when he's drinking alcohol in a scene, he has to be drinking real alcohol. It can't be fake. And like, in one scene when a character points a gun at him, the gun has to be completely believable. It can't just be like, just a toy gun. Like, he has to believe that he's in actual danger, which I really like. I'm a big fan of films that are about making films, and this is about making a play, but at the same time I like that kind of behind the scenes sort of thing. And I always like scenes where actors are playing actors. Like, it must be hard to acting, if you know what I mean, like, especially to act good, really good acting, or act really bad acting. I always find that quite interesting. So yeah, I like Birdman. It's I think a lot of people, I think probably quite mixed on it. I think if you're into that specific kind of thing, it's probably up your street. But I think if if people, it's not the normal film you just sit down and watch to relax kind of thing. It's an odd one, but I quite like that. I like it a lot. So that's my recommendation for a movie from 6 years ago, but it's all good. Comic book of the week. I mentioned this last week, and I've read it a bit more, and I wanted to talk about it. Is Swamp Thing, Legend of the Swamp Thing, Halloween Spectacular. So it's a couple of weeks old now because Halloween was, time isn't real anymore in this age we're living in. So, but yeah, Six Tales Rooted in Terror. And as I mentioned before, I'm a big Swamp Thing fan. Plus, that's a great cover. I love it. Since reading Alan Moore's Swamp Thing from the 80s, which I need to reread again because I've always had a thing for Swamp Thing since I read that. I've always found this kind of emotional connection with the character, and I haven't watched the TV series yet, and I really, really should, because I feel like that kind of gets that. But yeah, he's always a character I felt a real strong affinity for. Just kind of, he's like my guy. He's one of those characters I just really like. If I ever see anything with him in, I'm just like, there he is, this Swamp Thing. But this is just 6 short stories, and it's a 48-page book with 6 stories in, so they're all relatively sort of short. But it works really well. It's all different artists and different writers for each one, but they're just little stories about, it's not the main Swamp Thing that we know. It's kind of the spirit of the Swamp Thing, the Green as it's called, and over time. So it goes through different time periods, more modern day, and it has there's an ancient Rome story, and then there's one in Japan in World War II, and it's just all really just kind of stories about the folly of humanity and the environment and the nature kind of thing of Swamp Thing. I don't know how well you can see this, but it's the art's quite dark, but it kind of fits in with the style kind of thing. It's I'll try and find a better example, something a bit brighter. Actually, yeah, this is a cool one. So this might be a spoiler if you haven't read it, so look away now if you don't want to. But there's a really cool image of a giant Swamp Thing man there, and it's I've been reading them just kind of one at a time. I didn't want to binge read it. I just kind of been going through it. There's another little sample. So say it's all different artwork in each story. But yeah, they're all kind of moral stories sort of thing, and it's kind of Swamp Thing's connection to humans and stuff like that. And it's a really, really nice book. I really like it. I'm really glad I randomly picked it up in the comic book shop back when you could go to shops a couple of weeks ago. And it was just, really cool. I like it a lot. I'm such a big Swamp Thing guy. I should definitely watch the series. Let me know if you've watched the series and if you think I should watch it. Because I know it's on Amazon Prime. It's only 10 episodes, which is great. But as I've said many times, I struggle with TV series. My attention span isn't that great with these things. So that brings us on to section number 3, is action figure of the week. So I've not been buying so many action figures lately. It's because it's obviously harder to get out to shops and stuff as well. So I decided to go for really retro with this one, and this figure is super cool. It is the Ghostbusters Fright Features Ray Stantz. I know you can't see that particularly well, but you get the idea of it. I picked up a whole job lot of these figures before everything went to hell. I went through a phase where I just really wanted some retro Ghostbusters action figures, and they're not particularly cheap. I'll probably talk about some more of these in the future episode, but there's I think I've got about 6 of them, and it was probably about £30 for a box of 6, which is quite a lot for old action figures. This one says 1989 on it. I think they all have the Kenner logo on their bums. But and they've re-released some of the Ghostbusters figures recently. Hasbro now owns the Kenner license, so they re-released some of them in the packaging. But I did watch one of these on eBay in the packaging, and you're looking at about 30-40 quid for one of these still on the card kind of thing, mint on card as they call it. But I didn't care. I just wanted the figure. I really like the colours of it. I like the blue, the yellow, and the purple. I like his little metal detector that he's got. I think it's a metal detector. I don't really know. Maybe it's a metal ghost detector, but the Fright Features ones are cool because they all have a little switch with them where you can change their facial expression, so they've been scared by something. But I only just noticed today, actually, this one's a bit weird because if you can see there, his mouth's open, so he's already afraid. And I thought the idea was that the figures have that normal face, and then you press the switch and they go into that scared expression. But he's already scared. Then when you press the thing, it flicks around to his normal Ray Stantz face, and then it's maybe you're supposed to do that and then let it go. But they're cool because these are 30 years old and the mechanisms on them still work. I've got an Egon one as well. So it's pretty old school figure, so the posability is quite limited, but they're still cool. It's in really good condition as well. Nothing wrong with it at all. I really like it. Like I say, one of these in the packaging, you're looking at a fair bit of cash. So these are cool figures to have. One day when I've got a bit more space and I can display things better, it'll make for a really cool display model as well. I don't know, maybe I've got a rare one that isn't working right, like it's meant to be that by default, but there's nothing wrong with it. Maybe I've picked it up by accident and never realised it could be worth millions of pounds. Probably not, but it could be. So that was my action figure of the week, Ghostbusters Fright Features Ray Stantz from 1989. So into the news section. Again, it's been a bit of a slower news week because of still the fallout of the election in America that you may have heard about, and obviously everything's kind of stopped again over here, so it's all a bit rubbish. But the news I saw this week that did interest me was Jurassic World Dominion, the third Jurassic World film, or the sixth Jurassic Park film, has finished shooting. And I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100%, but that could be the first major production to finish shooting during the crisis that we're all living in right now. So I mean, that's quite a feat, really. Like, I heard the other day they went through like 40,000 COVID tests or something like that while they were doing it. I don't know how true that is, but it must make things a lot harder, and I can't imagine it's a particularly enjoyable experience to make a film during COVID times. Like, I'm trying not to use the word COVID, but you know, it's hard not to at the moment. I want this to be a positive thing, but it's an interesting one. I don't know how, as an actor, you would be comfortable doing a scene with someone like face to face, for example, like unmasked, even if you have been tested. Like, me personally, I'd find that really difficult to do, to be comfortable in that environment. Like, I can't be near anyone at the moment unless I'm wearing a mask. Like, that's just the way I am. Like, I'm not comfortable with it. But I mean, back to the film. We'll see how the film turns out. I don't know if that will affect the quality of the film. Like, I'm a bit mixed on those films, really. Like Jurassic Park, the first one, is legitimately one of my favourite films ever. One of the very first films I ever saw at the cinema as a kid. And I like The Lost World as well. That one got panned a bit, but I like it. And Jurassic World, when that came out, it was just the right amount of nostalgia and enjoyment for me. Like, it wasn't, you know, I didn't love it, but I enjoyed it. Like, it was like, I was like, that's exactly what I want. The second one, I was just kind of, you know, take it or leave it. I wasn't that fussed about it. It was enjoyable enough. And the third one, like, I'll go and see it if cinemas are a thing when it comes out. But yeah, so, you know, I'm cool with it. I keep seeing more stuff. I mentioned the film Mank before, the David Fincher Netflix film, which is going out on December 4th, about Herman Mankiewicz. I looked his name up this time. I wasn't sure what his first name was, the writer of Citizen Kane. And I've seen a few articles about Fincher and how he signed a 4-year deal with Netflix, and because he's kind of really disparaged about modern Hollywood and cinemas, and he said it's like there's superhero season, that's about it, really, kind of thing, which I kind of get. Fincher's a very serious filmmaker, so I can imagine he looks at things in a certain way, and I'm a big fan of his work, so I've no problem with whatever he says. I don't necessarily agree or disagree, but he's quite notorious in almost a Kubrick kind of way of doing many takes on things, and there's been stories coming out. I've not read too much because I don't want to read too much before I watch the film, as I normally am. There's been lots of things about how many takes he has done on this film Mank, and how Gary Oldman had a really unpleasant experience like making this film. But you know, it's Gary Oldman, so I can imagine he's done and seen it all. So I shouldn't think he'll be too bothered about it. He is who he is, so for a reason. So, but I'm really looking forward to seeing the film Mank. Everything I read about it really makes me more interested in it, and I already know it'll be quite a divisive one. I can imagine it won't be to everyone's taste, but I mean, who knows? But yeah. And in some personal news, as I said, cut my hair. And also, I've got a new banner on my YouTube page that my friend Tom drew, which is really nice of him, and that's really cool. I like it. I don't know if I've fit it properly, so it depends what you're on. If you're on desktop or TV or a phone, it might look different. You might only see a small part of it, but I'm sure if you click on it, you can see it. I don't know, but I might put it on the video at some point if I can figure out how to do that. I don't really know. I'm new to all this stuff still. But yeah, thanks Tom for doing that. His Instagram is @TomDrawsThings. I'll put a link to it in the bio if you want to check out some of his other drawings. He's very, very good. I like it a lot. But yeah, so that is my other YouTube news. Like I say, I've just about to upload the Mandalorian review, so that'll be up when you're watching this. I'm going to do another video soon about the progress on the Millennium Falcon, just there. So that'll be cool. That'll probably be up tomorrow, so I'm going to do some more on it today. But yeah. Thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.